Yes. Hey, we're live. One more. Hey, we're back. One more time, doing it like we did back in the day. But still, that spirit still lives with us even unto this day. I'm talking to those people who know what I'm talking about when you hear this man drill, fence walk. The others grew up on this. I have are this. Number one, the promotion, the program that he's promoting is terribly flawed. I say that as a top curriculum designer. How can I say top? Well, I'm just repeating what white people said when they evaluated my skill set at the graduate level as far as in curriculum design and determined that I was at the top 10% in my career field. I'm just talking about what white people say. It may not be true. You know, many of you already know that, and it's common knowledge in our community. You know, at every black table in the nation, we know that it's very dangerous to trust white people, even though you have to some extent. But we already know that's common knowledge in the community. Let's be 100, not 100, 100. So the number one thing is that the strategy is terribly flawed. I'm saying that as a curriculum designer who has spent over 30, 40 years working on the strategies that I'm presenting now and doing it boldly and saying I'm laying it on the table. And I would invite Roland or anyone else to come to the table, critique what I've done, and come up with a better strategy and a better plan. They're not going to do it. They're not. Call anyone you want to call and issue them this challenge. I don't need their clout. I don't need for Roland to call me. Roland needs to call me because he's supposed to be black media. Now I'm trying to share some things with him as black media and will. I respect him. I've ran into him a couple of times. I've been on some conferences or councils with his brother in Houston, Texas. Roland is all right with me. I don't necessarily agree eye to eye with a lot of what he says and does, but that's Roland Martin. I'm Errol Jones. He has to be Roland. I have to be Errol. And so right now, Errol is talking to Roland and saying, in public view, Roland, you're either going to have to sharpen up the presentations that you're making on strategies for boycotts and whatnot because it's terribly flawed, or you're going to have to debate those flaws because I can't sit by idly knowing what I know and allow you or anyone else to, even with a good heart, to mislead the black community. It's time out for black leaders who have their hearts may be in the right place, some, and some are not. But it's time out for our black leaders to continue to be ineffective and bumbling along. Now, the only way I can say that is if I know what to do to correct some of those things. I don't know what to do to correct for all the black leaders, but I know how to step to the table as a black leader and lead the black community and work with the black community. Primarily because I'm bringing a strategy to the table that will transform many lives in the black community almost immediately. There's no one out there that would even dare to make a statement like that. No one. Where are they? Bring them to the table. What Democrat? what Republican, what pastor, what nonprofit leader or owner, what community activist, who? I would ask you to excuse my passion, but you might as well get used to it, because I'm passionate about helping Black people. I'm passionate about the idea that God has preserved me to this point in life, because the things I'm talking about now are nothing new to me. I grew up with this instilled in my mind to work with people around me, and have all Black people especially have always been that. And I work in white circles as well. Function well. I excel in white circles. I have great white credentials, academically, historically, socially. I know how to mix. Uh, those are white credentials from Loma Linda University, from Walden University, from Texas Southern. Yeah, that's white credential, because Texas Southern is a state university. That's a white credential. I finished the program. No, excuse me. I couldn't finish the program. My degree, my doctoral degree in education is what I was doing there. But I took a number of classes, and I finished my accounting, straight A's in my accounting and all of that at Texas Southern. I learned a lot. Those are white credentials. Let me give you my Black credentials. The fact that I'm taking my very valuable time, which I can take and shop around anywhere in the nation, to people of all races, shapes, colors, sizes, and economic backgrounds, but I'm spending my time talking to Black people, putting myself at risk for Black people, unashamedly even mentioning the word Black people. Those are my Black credentials. Proud of them. Love them. It's who I am. It's my brand. So now this evening, with Roland or anyone else, I'm dealing with Roland because he is a central figure in the Houston media, Black media in particular. And, of course, you see Roland has connections all across the nation. Let me reiterate, I don't need Roland Martin for anything I'm doing. Roland Martin needs me. Roland Martin needs millions of dollars for his media program. I can get that for him. Roland Martin needs to understand that I could donate that myself in the not too distant future. Let me make this a little plainer here, what we're doing really quickly, because the time is winding down. We've done this for 8 minutes here, but I'm trying to keep it to 30 minutes for these short presentations. Also, we're going to start doing radio, which is what I did before. I love the format because even though you can't see me, you don't know whether I've shaved or not shaved. You don't know. You don't know if I have a pick in my afro or even if I have an afro. But one thing that you can know is this: I have been known to have a great radio face. So I've been told. For some reason, I don't know if that's a good thing. But it is for me tonight. So anyway, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this radio. You will be invited to be able to speak. I'm going to start sending those things out as we open up this project, which I'm about to introduce to you right now. Who are we talking about being able to come on the air? That's people that are invited to the new Black city, people that are operating within the new Black city, people that are engaged in and have their businesses soliciting business in the new Black city. What are we trying to accomplish? We're trying to accomplish a community of Black aspirations. A community of Black aspirations. A community of Black aspirations. Community, a group of people working together in some way, shape, form, and fashion so that it allows them to be able to be sustained. So it's first of all a community. Black, I'm not going to explain that. Black is whoever wants to be Black. I really don't care if you were Asian, But if you come to our New Black City, you know that the purpose of the New Black City is to support certain Black initiatives, and you're welcome to participate, but you must know that it's a Black initiative. So the last thing is aspirations. Why did I pick that word, aspirations? Because that deals with what you aspire to be. Magic Johnson had or has a television show, a network called Aspire. And I don't know if you ever saw the commercials, but as he was standing in a gymnasium called St. Cecilia, he said, "This is where it all started, in St. Cecilia Gym." Well, I was in that gymnasium when Magic was there. I watched Magic just destroy a New York high school team in his senior year of high school. I was there with Magic when he played against Spoon. If those of you guys know anything about basketball, you might know who Spoon was. I think he went to Marquette, ended up going to Marquette. And oh man, I can't think of the guy's name right now. I see his face, but his brother, both he and his brother, Albert King played on that team. Magic destroyed them. But when the junior high school team from New York played our Detroit high school team, they just kicked our junior highs behinds. And I was standing on the sideline, and watched the whole thing. I really enjoyed it. But as Magic was in that St. Cecilia gymnasium, he said, "This is where it all started." And I say that I had a chance to play there. Magic was there. I had a chance to play there with some top-notch college players. Ricky Green, pro. Had a chance to play there with number one draft choice with the Detroit Pistons, Phil Sellers. And I remember with my cockiness and attitude, even though I was a young man, I think I was probably just out of high school, I'm pretty sure I was just out of high school or getting ready to graduate from high school. But I'm out there on the floor with Phil Sellers. And Phil, I remember him coming down, and I shot a brick, hit the back of the rim, bounced off real hard, really a hard brick. And he came running behind me and said, "Hey, don't worry about it, big fella." And I kind of, looked at him like, "Dude, you don't know me." Really, I didn't know him until I saw him come down and do a whirly bird dunk, catch the ball and whip it around his head and dunk it. And I heard my partner, Keith Smith, who used to play with University of Michigan, who beat Michigan State. Keith was on the free throw line, if I remember the story and remember the situation. Keith had a tryout with the Clippers, but Keith was only 6'1". Clippers needed a little bit more. But at any rate, when I heard Keith yell out on the court, "Good shot, Phil. Good shot, Phil." "Oh, nice shot, Phil." Then it started dawning on me. I'm like, Phil Sellers? You mean Phil Sellers, number one draft pick for the Detroit Pistons? Oh man, wow. Now that really means more to me now than it did back then, because I was on the floor with the NBA pro playing ball with him in high school and hanging. At least I got a shot off, if you call that hanging, But I had an aspiration, and Magic's whole show was called Aspire. His whole network is called Aspire. And I know that in our community, we have so many aspirations amongst Black people. I was pastoring, and I never really wanted to pastor, even though I went to school to study ministry, because I thought God was getting me out of the streets of Detroit. And so I said, well, naturally, he must want me to go and be involved in ministry, especially since I went to a private boarding academy that was focused on, it was a Seventh-day Adventist school, and had a big impact on my life, changed my life, really. And but I never wanted to be a pastor. But I knew I needed to develop some skills as a leader, because it's like I'm talking now. I have pastoral skills, but in a leadership role. I'm looking and working and committed to developing the Black community. I don't need a church to authorize me to do that in a way that a church or a pastor would do it. I don't need that IRS designation as a nonprofit. I can do this for profit. Why would I do it for profit? Because that way, the people that I associate with and work with, as you can see, the title of the mission is Black Community Development through Youth Entrepreneurship. That way, money can be generated and channeled back into the Black community. That's the purpose. I don't need to meet anyone's expectations and say, if you're a pastor, you must be nonprofit. You can take that back to your non-business understanding people that you work with. That is not me. It's a new model. It's a new day. Okay. So Black community, we are a community of Black aspirations. And so this new Black city is people coming together to have aspirations to do things. I was so glad to see Magic the other day on television in an interview. He says that he has a number of friends who obviously are millionaires. And he says that some of them get insulted because he says he can't do million dollar deals with them. His interest is not there. He does $1 billion deals. Why? Because he knows he's good. Magic's my favorite basketball player of all time. I love Magic Johnson. But Piston fans and Lion fans, Detroit fans, we can't like or appreciate anybody else. We might give a nod, okay, but bottom line is we don't like anybody that's not a Piston, a Lion, a Tiger, or a Red Wing at the core, except Magic. So where does this occur? I just told you it's New Black City, and it's a virtual city. It exists virtually, which means we have national reach. That means that we can work with people in DC at the same time, working with people in LA at the same time, working with people in Seattle and in Anchorage or in Hawaii. But that's not as far. That's not the extent to which our reach extends. All across the Caribbean, to Mexico, to other countries, internationally. Now, why would we want to do that? Because there's people in all of those countries. Why wouldn't we? There are Black people all over this world. Why wouldn't they want to stay in touch with us? And so with our virtual New Black City, we have really established a Black community all across the world. As long as we can have themes and messages and leadership and programs to keep us together, we will have established what amounts to a new nation of Black people within the nation in which we live, with rules and guidelines and regulations that we live by. Love for everyone. We're not trying to hate anyone, but we're definitely going to look out for our people. And what are the two areas that we have to focus on with this New Black City? As the mayor, I'm the mayor for the New Black City, which really would have been a president, but since most people don't know what a president does, and I'm not interested in titles or being a president of something, I'll just be the mayor. But the mayor's jurisdiction would operate almost like a president does all across the nation. I know how to do this. You'll see what I'm talking about. So virtual, international and national, umbrella over Black people all across the country. We will have the largest collection of Black people in the United States. Back to what I was saying, the first thing is we have to organize two things. Number one, the National Black Business Alliance is there to make sure that what we just talked about gets done. It's the business part of what we do, the financing piece of what we do. But there are two things that are required to make this thing happen. One, people don't really know. They don't really know what I'm talking about. So no matter how bad they want to talk about what I'm trying to do, I know that they don't know what they're looking at. Therefore, their analysis is going to be short-sighted and more than likely in error because they've never seen it before. So they really can't evaluate it yet. And then there are going to be those people that are going to be hyped up, super hyped and crazy about what we're bringing to the table. But I can't get too hyped up about that because those people generally don't really know fully what they're talking about either because they've never seen it before. And so we're operating on the point in the Black community. Go to www.thenextbigthinginblack.America. Get on that mailing list. We're the next big thing in Black America because not only are we focused on the BIZ, the Black Instructional School Zone, where we're interjecting ourselves back into the lives in a more powerful way with our Black students from cradle to grave in education mode. I don't care if they never teach Black history in any of these schools. That ain't the school's responsibility. But maybe, but I don't really care because I'm going to teach it. You should be teaching it. Our churches should be teaching it. Our libraries, are there libraries anymore? Yes, they are. The libraries are now online. So now the second thing, number one, is the Black Instructional School Zone. It's an education process, and that's why I'm calling for 100 Black male educators to lead out in this initiative. Why Black men? Do you think I hate black women? You think I don't respect what black women have done? But I am very much committed to elevating black men back to the position where we need to be. For some reason, so many of us have slipped and slided, slided. I don't have time to correct it. All over the place, that we don't know what black men are. We don't know what men are anymore. Tripping. So we need to reach out to our black boys and black men and reinstill standards of what we believe black manhood should be, especially in times that we're in that right now. I'm hearing all these people whining about Trump. I already told you I like Trump. It ain't because of who he is or anything like that, but Trump don't really give a damn what you think. I like that. I really do. He doesn't give a damn. And if he does, it's because he chooses to. Okay? Please understand me. Is it because I think he's going to do great and wonderful things for the black community? Hell, the black community is not doing great and wonderful things for the black community. Your own black leaders have sold out, confused, misguided, misled, may have a great heart, but I challenge every one of them to step to the plate. This is a new year. Many people stood behind you as the Democratic Party. You clowned the community. You clowned the community. Black leaders, you clowned the black community, in my humble opinion. And I'm just speaking for myself. You clowned us. So as far as I'm concerned, I respect you as another black person who's trying to do something. Respect for your leadership is not really there. I could lie about it, but I don't need to lie about it. I don't respect your leadership. Okay? And it's being challenged. Let's look at the next thing here. We're almost done. Where virtual. When, right now. NOW, now. You know what that means? Need our wealth. I wish somebody would step to me and tell me they think I need to vote for a Democrat or promote a Democratic policy. Or I don't give a damn about what you think about immigration or none of the things that you promote, none of that, until you start speaking to black people about reparations. Why? Because you speak to everybody else about everything else. Donald Trump just signed 200 executive orders. Biden got in office and the first thing he did was sign executive orders for the Asians, the gays, and the Hispanics, but clearly said he wouldn't do anything for blacks. So did Kamala. So all you black people out here running around kissing these Democrats' ass like that, you really strike me as just being suckers. And I mean that from the standpoint, not that you're not intelligent, you don't have aspirations or have desires, but you fooling around running behind people who are just providing a disservice for you. 2 elections have gone by. You have not had a single black person in either one of the presidential elections in 2 cycles. Don't tell me that Kamala stuff. You have not had a single black person, except the one that I supported, Cornel West. But you ninjas are running around disrespecting each other, your families, your friends, all kinds of folks, because they disagreed with you on the Democrat-Republican issue. So you're destroying your own community because you fall for that stupidity that you've been taught. That's some stupid stuff. Are you a Democrat first or are you black? Democrat or black? Now, does that mean the Democratic Party hasn't done some good things for the black people? I didn't say that. But right now, the black community look like big suckers and look so sorry and sad, faces long, because Donald Trump got in office and he just signed 200 executive orders, and he's not respecting what we really want. He's cutting down the federal government, and we're going to lose a whole bunch of jobs. Well, if you were in business, you would understand that when the money's tight, one of the first places you go to cut is labor. So that's reasonable. Now, I don't know about how you go about cutting, but how many of you ninjas are on federal payroll? So you don't know what to do if Donald Trump cuts that. Have no idea, not a clue, because folks have not taught you that you better become self-sufficient. You don't have any value, nothing that you can sell that people would pay for you, nothing you can do that people would give you money to be able to sustain yourself, nothing. Well, you don't need to eat. Oh, excuse me. Don't get mad at me. Read the Bible. The Bible says if a person can't take care of their family, they've already denied the faith. A believer, he says, they've already denied the faith and are worse than somebody who doesn't believe. So if you don't know how to take care of your family because damn Donald Trump is the president, you don't need to eat. You and your whole family need to starve. That's stupidity. It's a doggone shame. Who taught you that? Didn't Malcolm X ask you that? Who taught you that your lips were not beautiful? Your nose was like, who taught you these things? You know who taught you? Who? I'll tell you who taught you. All those black people around you who did not teach you differently. That's who taught you. Taught you to be stupid. And you wonder why people that are not black think our community is so damn stupid. Because that's how we operate. Because we have leaders running around in circles doing what I thought was, and possibly some stupid stuff which would make them incompetent. But I'm thinking in some situations it's worse than stupid. It's treacherous because they're scheming and conniving and getting rich, misusing black people. Now we can straighten that out. We don't have to hate on them right now, but I know one thing, we want to call all of them, every single one of them, that get their damn act together. Because we're coming. We're coming. Wow, we need our wealth. None of you all are really talking about needing our wealth and putting wealth in the pockets of our people. And so that's why they're not paying attention to you, because you're talking about garbage. You're bringing out strippers and you're bringing out people to sing the nastiest songs in the country, to speak to our college-age students and tell all the women why they can go out and kill our doggone future voters. You sound like ignorant fools. You're killing your own voters because you don't want to get a condom. And you don't know why people think that our community is stupid? Oh, God damn. Hell, not only do the non-blacks think black people are stupid, black people think we're stupid. But enough of us know that not all of us are real stupid. Not all of us. Some of us read and some of us write and some of us participate and some of us put ourselves at risk and some of us don't just cave in to a lot of garbage, but there's a lot of us that give us a bad image, and then there's always going to be people out there that are going to promote that bad image of what we look like. But that's garbage. So here we come. New leadership in the new black city. We can turn this, let me say it like I feel it. We're about to turn this shit out, black people. This is the next big thing in Black America. Do you see why I'm not passionate? Because I said shit, they be calling somebody up trying to get me fired. Well, you can't fire me. I work for me. Community of Black Aspirations, the new black city. It's not the name. It's a virtual city that gives us reach out to internationally and nationally. It is, its focus is now. It's not just reparations. We want to repair our own nation. So we may never get reparations, but the fact that nobody's talking about it, that's insulting. That stuff got to stop. How are we going to do that? We're going to develop entrepreneurs starting at the kindergarten, prenatal, all the way up to college, from cradle to grave. Entrepreneurship will be our theme for owning and operating our city. And we have three major objectives in the new black city, which is not the name. Number one, that this place has to exist based on businesses. You're not going to feel very comfortable unless you come in there as a consumer, number one, which we appreciate. And it'll be nice to have you there visiting as a consumer. But you really want to be blessed by the new black city, you better get your business together. You know, you want to be left behind. You want Trump or whoever else to keep attacking your life because you have no business. Okay, well, don't get a business. Always be a beggar. That's on you. I don't donate well. I really don't. That's not true, sort of, but I really don't. B, get your business together. E, we want to make sure that we, in the program in National City, that we are actually realizing real capital gains. So even though the national city is an online virtual city, we're doing things in that national city just like you would in some of these other virtual games that are being played all over the world right now. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, but this is just one of our contributions. And we will realize actual, real capital transactions. This is about business. We're building businesses. And then lastly, the TBET goal, which is tell others, is our word of mouth industry. Tell a friend. We tell a friend. You want things to spread in the community, you tell some African American, the word's going to spread. So that's what we want to do. Lastly, the why. You have to know your why. You have to know what your why is. Here's my why. On April 4th, I was at my father's wake in Detroit, Michigan, on Mack and St. Jean at the Cantrell Funeral Home. And my uncle took me across the street to a little storefront store. I was going to call it a convenience store, but this, I think, was before convenience stores. Went to a little store there. And while we were there, we heard that Martin Luther King had been killed. Here I am at 9, 10 years old, watching television about Martin Luther King being killed. And across the street, I just left a place where there was a body in a casket of my father, dead. So Martin Luther King and my father have been integrally merged in my life. And then to cap it off, God played another trick on me and had my grandson born on Martin Luther King's birthday. My grandson, who's mixed race grandson, a little bit of Indian, Samoan, African American in him. The embodiment, I guess, of what Martin Luther King was talking about. So all these things have been on my mind for life. I can't get away from it, and I enjoy it. So my why involves this. Martin Luther King wrote a book called Community or Chaos. That has plagued me for life. Which one? Community or chaos? Community or chaos? Chaos sounds pretty bad. Community sounds like it could be pretty good. How do you get it? I don't know, but it's funny because my whole business mantra is about community development through youth entrepreneurship. But how do you get it? Why do we want it? Here's my why. Normal human activities are doing what I'm talking about. Economic development. That's all we're talking about doing. Prospering and growing together as a community. All the other communities do it. Why not Black Americans? Well, by design. It was never by design for us to do anything great and wonderful in this country except work for people as chattel slaves, as property. And now look at us, as they said in Egypt, that the Israelites said that they had grown and almost outnumbered the Egyptians. So now here we are in this country with Black people. One thing you probably need to get a grip on in America, it really appears that America thinks Black people are just in the way. My name is Errol Jones. We'll do this again. Share this message with someone else. Register at www.thenextbigthinginblackamerica.com or at www.getjobss.us for future updates. Have a good life.